Hey, Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to our online Christmas. I just want to encourage you to engage this morning with us as we discuss. Feel free to pause the video and discuss the same questions with your family or sing along as we worship. And also want to let you know at the end of the video, there's a little section for kids. So if you even want to skip ahead to that, that'd be great. Either way, have an amazing Christmas, and we love you so much. Merry Christmas. If you're confused, I can't help you. I'm sorry, Jen.
Hey guys, I'm Carl.
And I'm Paige.
And just welcome to our home. We invited some of the staff at PV over to our house just so we can share some Christmas memories. And thank you for inviting us into your home this morning. But yeah, I just thought we would start the conversation by asking, what are some of you guys' favorite Christmas memories?
One thing that I always remember is this one specific Christmas. I was hanging out at, before this Christmas, I was hanging out at Pastor Joe's house, hanging out with his son Seth. And he had this amazing Fisher-Price castle set with these little knights and stuff. And I thought it was the coolest toy I'd ever seen. So I told my parents about it, and they stored that away. And so that Christmas, when I opened that up, I freaked out. And I was like running around the house. And anyway, that was like the best Christmas gift I ever got. And it was like one of those things, like with our Christmas, it was always like, man, our parents give us the coolest stuff. And it was like this really special thing. We always open gifts on Christmas Eve. It was like this really special thing because not only did I enjoy getting gifts, but it always was this moment of like, I felt so known by my parents. Mm-hmm. Like they really paid attention. And so anyway, I always think about that when I think about Christmas. I think about that specific Christmas. So that's one. Have it? Yeah, I have it at my house and my kids play with it. It's really cool. Yeah.
That's literally every time I come over now, he's like, you want to play Castle?
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I was actually, so there were no secrets when it came to presents for me because I was really good at finding them. And then my dad would like, one year I wanted a Commodore 64 video games, and so it was hidden in his closet, top shelf. So I would go in there like once a day. It's like looking through all the things. But I remember this, in particular that Christmas, some reason I thought somebody broke into our house Christmas Eve. And so I'm laying in my bed like this. And like listening to every sound. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're going to steal my Commodore 64. I was so upset. So eventually I went to sleep. And the next morning I pretended like I was surprised.
Yeah. That's awesome. Anybody else have a Christmas burglar?
Not that I remember.
When I was growing up, we had an unfinished basement. We were all scared to go down there. I have 3 siblings, so we were terrified of that basement. It was scary. But one Christmas, in the months leading up to Christmas, my parents explicitly told us not to go down there, that all of our presents were down there, and if we saw our presents, they were going to return them. And then on Christmas morning, they took us down there, and they had spent like the last several months, every night after they put us to bed, they were down there for hours and hours, like just totally refinishing the basement into this like magical playland. It had like a slide and like cubby holes to crawl through. It was like a playhouse. And so, so cool. I know. So the 4 of us walked down there, and we have this old video of all of us just standing there like in awe, like we stood there for several minutes because we couldn't take it in. You know, our brains couldn't process that transformation. And it became every neighborhood kid, every cousin's favorite place to play for years and years to come.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. By far the best Christmas.
Serious.
That's so cool.
I could never live up to that with my own kids.
Oh, you're kidding me. If anybody can do it, it's Gen G.
No
wonder you turned out so fun.
You had a really fun childhood.
Yeah, the cool basement.
In a cool basement.
I think one of my favorite Christmas memories is every year we would go up to my grandma's house for like 3 days. and hang out with my like cousins, and we would be able to go like four-wheeling in the snow, where we would put sleds behind the four-wheelers, and we would just go all over on my grandma had like tons of land. And so we would just go all over in these trails through the forest, and so fun. And I just love that. I feel like I loved everything about Christmas though. It was like every single thing. It was like the food, you could always go and get candy from like just everything. There was nothing that I would ever be sad about. I was always so excited for everything we did. So fun.
The best. The best.
Mm-hmm. You guys don't have no memories?
I have a tradition.
I'm
that we did.
remembering.
This is like pretty simple, but when we were kids on Christmas morning, we would all like get up super excited, super early, and my parents would hide baby Jesus from the nativity scene, and whoever like found him then got to open their presents first. And so we were like running around the house like, Jesus, where are you? Trying to find him.
Where are you, God?
It was just so much fun because, like, obviously opening presents is fun, but just like running around the house with your siblings trying to find little baby Jesus. Yeah.
And that's when I found Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was funny.
Made me think of the Who song. Where are you?
Yeah.
Jesus? Why can't I find you?
I want my present.
Now.
No.
I don't know why it made me think of that cartoon. It's like a Far Side type cartoon where this guy comes to this guy's door and he asks him, "Have you found Jesus?" And then you see the curtains, and there are these two sandaled feet sticking out from underneath the curtains. It's hide and seek. Jesus is standing behind the curtain. "Have you found him?" "I can't find him anywhere."
So funny.
Carl, do you have a Christmas memory?
I sure do.
Why don't you tell me?
I remember I always had a hard time sleeping as a kid. I definitely grew out of that. But my parents would try to tucker me out Christmas Eve because they knew that overnight they had some presents to plant, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. And I usually would try to wake up and whatever, but I just remember waking up as soon as I could. I knew that the rule was I had to fall asleep, but right when I would wake up, I would run to my parents' bedroom. And I remember shaking my dad. It was still pitch black. And he was just like, "Go back to bed." Sent me back to my room like 3 or 4 times that night. And I just feel so bad. They never slept that night. But he would tell me, when it says 500, that's when you can come get me.
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow, Dad, you're so generous, letting me come at 5 o'clock." That just shows how much sleep I deprived them of. They were just like, "Just make it to 5. Please, just make it to 5. That's awesome. Dude.
That's awesome.
My dad used to tell me how he actually, when he was a kid, he just didn't even wait for them to get up. He'd go down and play with his toys.
Oh, really?
Then he'd come look at them. They're still sleepy. He'd go down and play some more. He's like already like know everything he was gonna get. And then finally, "You guys up yet? I've been playing for hours."
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm probably in for that this year.
Yeah, you are,
Fun.
dude.
That's fun. We have these really helpful little things that the light turns green when our kids can wake up.
That's awesome.
It's really nice. Yeah, so.
Is it like on a lamp?
Huh? It's like a little clock. It looks like a star, and it's red when they're supposed to be asleep, and it turns green when they can be awake.
That's awesome.
Tricks to play on Daniel and Amberlin is if we change the time.
Yeah.
And the green goes off.
Or 30.
Chad's been at our house again. It's three.
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
One of my favorite Christmas passages, obviously, the Luke passage about the whole narrative of Christmas is awesome, but I just always love this Isaiah passage out of Isaiah 9, where it's telling about what the Messiah will be like. And it says, "The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. A light has dawned on those living in a land of darkness. You have enlarged the nation and increased its joy. The people have rejoiced before you as they rejoice at harvest time and as they rejoice when dividing spoils. For you have shattered their oppressive yoke and the rod on their shoulders, the staff of their oppressor, just as you did on the day of Midian. For every trampling boot of battle and the bloodied garments of war will be burned as fuel for the fire. For a child will be born to us. A son will be given to us, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. The dominion will be vast, and its prosperity will never end. He will reign on the throne of David and over his kingdom and establish and sustain it with justice and righteousness from now on and forever. The zeal of the Lord of armies will accomplish this." And I love that because Christmas, I think, always is, there's like this incredible simplicity to it, in that it was something that happens every day, many, many, many thousands of times a day. A baby is born, but that specific baby, there's like all these promises behind the birth of Jesus. And anyway, that is always something for me that I just think about. Some of these promises, like just the way that he'll establish his new kingdom. And then I just love all these names of who Jesus is, that he's our Wonderful Counselor, our Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Just those are promises of who he is that we can cling to. But anyway, I'd love to just hear around the room, what are some things that have just been significant to you? Obviously, every Christmas, I feel like, at least for me personally, I feel like there's often just a new thing that God kind of highlights for me, or he takes me into a specific detail that just kind of makes me go, wow. So is there anything for you guys this year that's kind of just been like, this has just been something I've been meditating on? This is something that God's really been kind of showing me this year with Christmas. Any thoughts about that?
I feel like this is something that I started thinking about back in August when my son Micah was born. But one of the first thoughts I had after, like, while I was still in the hospital, was like, I cannot believe Jesus decided to come to Earth as a baby, and that's just kind of been like on my mind a lot. Like, man, I cannot believe that is the way that he decided to come, and one of the things I've been recently kind of thinking about is just like how he chose to have imperfect parents parent him. And just thinking about how like imperfectly I parent Micah, and like he doesn't really do anything wrong. He just needs something, and how I get frustrated about it, or and just thinking about how like that would have been the same for Jesus as a baby, and and how he chose imperfect parents to parent him. And I just feel like that's just been filling me with lots of wonder this year. Just kind of like feeling kind of in awe of like the way that he decided to arrive, and just so unexpected. Like and I feel like it's just like such a crazy thing that he wanted to come and be completely dependent upon something he created, and it just like so many things that I'm just like, I just cannot believe that this was your perfect plan. And it just I don't know, it just has filled me with so much like wonder this Christmas season.
Yeah, I love the simplicity, like even just thinking about him as a baby. And I like whenever I like kind of get to this place of all the stuff that we have, like presents and like just excitement and all the different things that are going on. And we do the services and different things like that. But I love to find myself like in a outside in the morning when it's really dark and stars, and just kind of taking a moment just to like take a breath and just think about like, because I remember, ours are older. Obviously, we got one that's almost senior, and so, but I can remember those moments of just simple things as a dad, like with Maya and Caleb and Abigail, like their hands are so little, their fingers are so tiny, and like you're just trying to like even change their diaper or put on little tiny little tiny onesies, and you're just like, just but the little arm, like I don't want to hurt you, like it's just. And so I just imagine like Jesus and Mary and Joseph, like we're so in tune to wanting to know what to do next with our walk with Jesus. And I think about like maybe those first few hours, or even those first few days of like, well, how do we do? The Savior of the world's here. What do we do? We got to get on with this. And I feel like there was just obviously like, well, we just change his diaper and we just feed him, and we're gonna just take care of this. Like, and so it's such a contrast. Like Daniel, you were saying, like this simplicity, but also this massive, government and kingdom that's forever. So I don't know. It is comforting to like have it be so simple, and where I feel like the Lord sometimes would just tell us, like, just relax. Like let this process and this wonder develop in you. That's kind of, I like to go there. I kind of go there every year. Takes the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, while you were talking, I was thinking about, so two of my boys were born in the middle of the night, like in the quietness of a night, like you're saying, and just thinking about that moment where Mary and Joseph had delivered Jesus, and nobody really knew. I mean, obviously people knew and the world had changed, but it was just this quietness of like, here's our little baby, and this baby that we love, and nobody really knows about him yet. Nobody knows how much he's going to shake up the world. And I don't know, that just has me thinking like, presently people like living and existing without the knowledge of who Jesus is, and what awaits them when that time comes, when they get to discover him for the first time or experience him for the first time. He's just kind of waiting quietly for them, definitely pursuing them, but also just waiting for the moment where they will pursue him too. And I just like the idea of the quietness before that. I don't know, it's kind of a cool thing to think about.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about in that verse specifically the name Prince of Peace, and how oftentimes like in this season it doesn't feel super peaceful because there's like something you have to do every day and a lot of things you have to prepare for, and how I rely on my schedule to bring me peace by not having things on certain days, and that's good sometimes too, but just thinking about how he brought peace the moment he was born. He fulfilled that name right there in the manger, and how I can rely on that in a season of busyness and craziness and stuff like that, because they did. Like Mary and Joseph were traveling when she's 9 months pregnant. Like that does not sound peaceful at all. That's terrible. That's awful. But the
Just
moment,
roll me there,
yeah.
please.
Come on. But the moment he was born, I'm sure that was like the most peaceful and beautiful moment because he fulfilled that.
Maybe not.
Right then and there. Yeah, you're
After
maybe
the
a
moment.
little bit. But
After
yeah.
the moment's after.
What do the lyrics say? No tears he cried or something?
Right.
No
So-
crying he made.
No crying he made.
No crying he made.
So maybe it was peaceful. If the song says it.
I think you kind of hope that the baby cries.
Is he okay?
Right?
Yeah, I
Baby?
remember that with our kid being born. It's like, are they crying? Sweet.
They're good.
That's good.
Everything's working.
But that brought you peace then.
It did.
The-
It did.
So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that's cool that the moment he was born, he fulfilled
Yeah.
that name.
Yeah.
One thing that I was just like reflecting on is how life is like really long. And it just feels really complicated. And I'm like pretty young, and it feels like it keeps getting more and more complex. And I just, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, at least for me, feel tuckered. And but as I was, laying on my couch, coughing up a lung, I I was thinking about baby Jesus and like how he came physically. And I know, like, I've heard pastors like preach on that before, but I just like, since it was like an original thought, I felt like, oh yeah, I can think about this. This is kind of what I I'm so sorry. But anyway, more editing.
So meta.
It's so meta, bro.
Too meta.
So meta, bro. But what I was thinking about is I felt overwhelmed with thankfulness because since Jesus came, since he died for me, my life isn't always going to be like this. Like, it will be made right. And I was just like so grateful for that. Like, number one, because I was sick and I'm like, I can't wait for that to go away, like forever. But also just like all the complexities and the pain that sin has brought and how it just has so tainted this place. Like, because Jesus came and because he lived a perfect life and died for me, it's not always going to be like this. And there is eternal hope because of that. And it's interesting because, yes, that means in eternity, everything's going to be made right. But it's also interesting how that gave me strength in that moment. And it gives me strength for the complexities of life that Jesus is going to give us what we need to keep going. So
I think one of the things that always like it just brings me to this place of amazement is thinking about how I think there are a lot of moments in life where it's like I want to pull the eject cord. Like, Lord, could you just take me to heaven? Or those moments where it's like, this is really hard, or things shouldn't be like this, or whatever. And so there's a lot of times where it's like, especially knowing about the hope that we have in Jesus, it's sort of like I can't wait for that, and I just want to be there. And I think that's a good thing. I think there can be hope from that. But on the opposite side of, like, Christmas is the opposite of that, where Jesus was there. He wasn't in the mess. Like, and certainly he's involved and he cares, but it just shows how deeply he connects with us and our situation, that he was willing to, like, I guess the way that I tend to think about it is it's like if there's this plane that's going down and you're like, I just want to jump out and pull the parachute. And Jesus is the one who like somehow flew himself into the plane and was like, it's okay, everybody. I'm going to get us out of this kind of thing. And so it's just like he put himself into the terrible situation that we experience on earth. And certainly there's joys. There's a lot of heartache. And he was willing to experience all of those things, even from the very earliest moments of just being a baby, right? And so anyway, that always just brings me a sense of wonder, and it just makes me feel so much more confident as I experience difficult things in life, because I know that Jesus takes that personally, and he's not, first of all, he understands, he can sympathize, but also like he was willing to step into that with me and with us, as humanity. So that always just brings me a sense of awe and wonder and just gratitude for Jesus.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of ages. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Oh, sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, all glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. We adore you. Hey, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come.
can't believe it's Christmas time again. Now, where did I leave off? Oh, fixing another broken toy, of course.
Mr. Frankenheimer! I'm so lucky that you're open on Christmas Day. I still need a gift for my brother. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. There's nothing merry about Christmas.
What are you talking about? There's so much to be merry about Christmas. The lights and the decorations and singing Christmas carols with your friends and family. Oh, and giving gifts to people that are special to you. But I feel like a toy maker like you would absolutely love Christmas.
Well, I don't. The decorations are so tacky. Oh, the Christmas songs, they put them on repeat all the time, and they give me a headache. And don't even get me started on the gifts. Everyone just wants the next new, big, flashy thing, and they're never grateful. They just whine and complain when they don't get it. Ugh, people are so ungrateful these days.
I see. Well, you do know that Christmas isn't really about the decorations and songs and the gifts, don't you, Mr. Frankenheimer?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, we celebrate Christmas because it's Jesus' birthday.
Jesus' birthday?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a story. Just a minute.
The story begins when God created the world. He made everything with just a word. The majestic mountains, the vast oceans, the beautiful flowers, the incredible animals. He even created people, us, in his very own image. The people were able to have a relationship with God, and he was their very best friend. Everything was good. Everything was perfect. But the people chose to sin. They chose to rebel against God. They disobeyed, they lied, and they hurt each other, themselves, and God. Because sin had entered the world, all people became a slave to sin. We couldn't stop hurting everyone and everything around us. Because of sin, people would get sick, fall, get hurt, say mean things to others, cry, and get angry. God was sad that people he created and loved so much were slaves to sin. He wanted to save his people, but he knew that no person could save themselves. He would have to save everyone himself. Well, that brings us to Christmas. God sent his only son, Jesus, to us. The glory of God was all wrapped up in the fragile, tiny body of a baby. This baby would grow up and live a life without any sin. No lying or cheating and no mean thoughts. He lived the perfect life we were supposed to live. And then he died for us, sacrificing himself so we could be free from always sinning. Now, anyone that chooses to believe and make Jesus the king of their life can have God as their best friend again. Christmas is celebrating Jesus' birthday. God sent Jesus to save us, and Jesus is the greatest gift we could have ever been given.
So you see, Mr. Frankenheimer, Christmas is all about celebrating that Jesus came to earth. He came as a baby to free us from our sin and bring us into a relationship with him. We decorate and we sing songs and we give gifts to celebrate the greatest gift, Jesus.
I think I get it now. Christmas is all about celebrating Jesus being with us.
Exactly.
Jesus really is the greatest gift. You know, that's making me think that Christmas isn't so bad after all. And you know what? In fact, I'm gonna close up shop early, head home and spend some more time with my family.
That's a great idea. Bye, Mr.
Wait. Before you go though, this little toy is for your brother. I think you'd really appreciate it.
Oh, it's perfect. How much?
On the house, totally free. And this one, I saw you eyeing this one up earlier. This one's all for you as well.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Frankenheimer.
You're so welcome. Thank you for letting me see the real reason for Christmas. Jesus. He's the greatest gift ever. Well, we better get going so we can celebrate, because there's so much to celebrate with Jesus.
There sure is.
Hey, good morning, Pleasant Valley Church. Merry Christmas. My name is Isaiah, one of the interns here at PV, and I've got a couple of announcements coming up for you as we get going with the service. On Friday, January 20th, from 5 to 7 p.m., fathers and their daughters, grade 4 and younger, are invited to enjoy a date night. The night will include dinner, dancing, games, and a photo booth, and also a message. The cost is $20 for each family, and make sure to register by Sunday, January 15th. As we approach the end of 2022, please be aware that any offerings that are to be credited to 2022 must be hand-delivered, made online, or postmarked by December 31st, 2022. We just want to thank you so much for your generous giving, and we just want to add that the office will be closed Monday, December 26th through Monday, January 2nd. And a look ahead for New Year's Day, which is also a Sunday, we're only going to be having one service. So join us at 10:30 and feel free to come 30 minutes early and enjoy some breakfast treats together. You can find out more about any of today's announcements or really anything else by taking a look at the PV Winona app, the happenings, or our website. Be sure to check out details on all the events happening at PV this month, including the next Men's Ministry Challenge, January 5th from 6:30 to 8 p.m., and Mondays for Moms, January 9th at 9 a.m. If you're new today or have any questions, stop by the Next Steps area in the cafe. And if you'd like to worship through the act of giving this morning, you can do that through the website, the app, or the black boxes in the back of the ministry center and all throughout the church. Well, that's it from me. We're so glad that you joined us this morning. Merry Christmas, and just a reminder that Jesus loves you.
Thanks for joining us, you guys, and have a good Christmas.
As simple as that.
See, Carl, that's how it's done.